My beloved child, stop for a moment. Do not scroll away. I need you to pause right where you are and give me just 1 minute of your time. Heaven-aligned time itself to bring your eyes to these words right now. You did not stumble across this message by accident. I guided your hand because your heart is finally ready to embrace the quiet gift I held back. Do not rush past this moment into the noise of the world. I promise you with all my heart that you will not regret staying here with me. You have been searching for a sign and begging for an answer in the dark, and every door you tried to open seemed to close in your face. I am stepping into your day because your weary soul desperately needs to breathe. Come closer to me right now. Let me speak softly to the part of you that is most tired. I see you so clearly in this exact second. You have been moving through your days carrying a heavy burden that was never meant for your shoulders, while pretending to everyone around you that you have everything under control. You smile for them while quietly breaking apart inside. I know how tired you are. Your body is weary, your thoughts are constantly racing. But more than that, your soul is exhausted from pretending to be strong for so long. You have been acting as the steady anchor for everyone around you, while silently wondering who will ever hold you when you fall down. Pause where you are and let my words settle into your chest. If you feel me speaking directly into your hidden pain right now, do not close your heart to my voice. Seal this moment of connection before we move any deeper. Type the words "I am not alone" in the comments right now as a sacred act of agreement between your spirit and mine. Good, my child. You stayed. Now let me tell you how well I know your secret battles. I watched you when you thought no one in the world was paying attention. I saw the moment you closed your bedroom door and sat on the edge of your bed without even knowing what you were feeling, because the weight of your life was simply too big for words. I saw you in the bathroom when you turned on the water so no one could hear you cry. You folded yourself into the smallest shape and pressed your face into a towel just to muffle your sobs. You wiped your eyes quickly and washed your face so you could step back out and pretend everything was fine. But I counted every single tear that fell from your eyes. You are my silent survivor. You have been fighting invisible battles in total silence, pretending the weight does not hurt you as deeply as it really does. You tell yourself that you have to hold everything together alone, and you worry that if you slow down for even a second, your entire world will crumble into pieces. Look at me right now. Breathe deeply and let your shoulders drop down. The weight you carry is real, but you were never designed to hold it by yourself. I am stepping into your day to break the cycle of exhaustion that has drained your spirit for far too long, and I am handing you the rest you have begged for. You have been carrying the same prayer on your heart for longer than anyone around you realizes. You have been faithful in the dark and trusting in a silence that felt like total abandonment. You asked me why doors that looked so perfect suddenly closed in your face, and you wondered in the quiet hours if I was angry with you or if I simply forgot your name. Hear me with the deepest place of your heart. I never forgot you for a single breath. What you called a painful delay was actually my sacred protection over your destiny. I was shielding you from rooms you were not ready to enter, and I was keeping you away from people who were not equipped to hold your gentle heart. I know how purely you love others. You have poured your sincere heart into hands that did not know how to value it or care for it properly. You gave your time and your energy until you had nothing left for yourself, while quietly wondering why your kindness was constantly met with disappointment. My child, I do not blame you for loving deeply. You feel so depleted today. Every step forward feels like walking through thick mud. You look at others who seem to move through life effortlessly, while you are fighting every single day just to keep your head above water. You wonder if you arrived late to your own life, or if you somehow missed your moment of joy. Do not let the lies of the enemy convince you that you are behind. You are not late, and you are not forgotten. You are standing at the exact intersection where my grace meets your exhaustion. Stay right here with me, because what I am about to speak over your future will completely shift everything you have been carrying. You have been asking for peace, but you thought peace meant the absence of the storm. You thought peace meant having every problem solved and every bank account filled and every relationship repaired. But the peace I am bringing you today is something much deeper than the world can ever understand. You are so tired of wearing the mask of strength. You put on a smile when you leave the house, and you answer everyone with a brave voice when they ask how you are doing. You say that you are fine, but inside your spirit is crying out for a place to rest because you are tired of being the strong one for everyone else. Are you listening closely to me? Do not let distractions steal this holy moment from you. The noise of the world wants to pull your mind away because it knows that your breakthrough is close. Take a slow breath right now and let your mind stop racing for just this 1 second. I know about the quiet restlessness sitting just behind your chest right now. You have felt a strange stirring lately that you could not put into words. It feels like a mix of quiet anxiety and sudden expectation, and it keeps you awake when the house goes still. That is not confusion, my beloved child. That restlessness is your spirit sensing a massive shift in the unseen realm. The pain you have endured was never a punishment for your past mistakes. It was a holy crucible where I was shaping you into a vessel strong enough to hold the blessing that is coming, because a precious jewel covered in dust is still precious to the one who made it. I saw you when you felt completely isolated, even in a room full of people. You listened to their laughter and felt like a stranger who did not belong anywhere. You felt invisible and wondered if anyone would ever truly see you for who you are. But I saw you, and I sat right beside you in that heavy quietness. I have seen the heavy patterns that walked through your family for generations. You watched the same fears and the same lack and the same mental heaviness affect those who came before you. Somewhere deep in your spirit, you made a silent choice that it had to stop with you, and you took on the role of the cycle breaker without knowing how heavy that crown would be. You carry a constant fear that you will fail the people who depend on you. You wake up in the middle of the night with your heart pounding against your ribs, running through every possible scenario and trying to fix problems that have not even happened yet. You try so hard to control the future because you are terrified of being caught unprepared again. Hear my voice speaking over your racing thoughts right now. You do not have to perform for my love, and you do not have to earn my favor with endless striving. I loved you before you ever accomplished a single thing on this earth, and my love for you is an unshakable anchor that holds firm even when your own faith feels weak. Look up at me right now. Lift your eyes from the dust of your battles. The season of holding yourself together with your own empty strength is coming to a complete end today. I am stepping in to take the heavy bags off your shoulders, and I am handing you the key you have been waiting outside for. The enemy targeted you with so much exhaustion because he saw what was placed inside you before you were born. He tried to drown out my voice in your life with constant worries and endless fear. He wanted you to believe that your story ends in burnout and silent heartbreak, but those are lies from the dark. You are my chosen warrior, and your story is far from over. The quiet gift I held back was never meant to be hidden forever. It was kept sealed until your heart reached this exact point of surrender, where you could finally receive it without trying to earn it with your own striving. Stay right where you are with me. Let the warmth of my presence surround you as we step deeper into the truth of what has been happening in your life. I am about to show you why every closed door was a wall of protection, and how the very noise that exhausted you is about to be cleared away forever. Come deeper into my presence now, my beloved child. Let us sit together in the quiet space where you no longer have to pretend. I want to talk about the moments you never share with anyone else. I know about the heavy tears that fall when the house is completely dark and the world is asleep. You lie in your bed with your eyes open, staring at the ceiling while your mind runs in circles. You replay every mistake and every conversation from your past. You wonder where you went wrong and why every honest effort ended in disappointment. The silence of the night feels so heavy that it presses down on your chest like a giant stone. You take a deep breath, but the air feels tight in your lungs. You ask yourself if anyone truly knows the real you, or if they only love the strong version you present to them. I watched you when you gave your pure love to people who used it for their own benefit. You poured out your spirit to heal their wounds, but when you were hurting, they walked away without looking back. They left you with empty hands and a broken heart, yet, despite all the pain they caused you, you still chose to forgive them and carry their heavy burdens in your daily prayers. I know how hard it is when the people in your own household do not understand your heart. You sit at the table surrounded by family, yet you feel completely alone in your thoughts. You try to share your dreams, but they laugh or dismiss your words as foolishness. So you learn to keep your deepest prayers hidden away, protecting them like delicate sparks in a cold wind. My child, you are a misunderstood giver. You give and you give until there is nothing left inside your own vessel, and then you quietly retreat into isolation to rebuild yourself. You hide your exhaustion because you do not want to be a burden to anyone else. You tell yourself that you can handle one more storm, but inside your soul, you are crying out for someone to hold you. Do you feel that particular heaviness in your chest right now? It sits right behind your ribs and never quite lifts, no matter how much you rest. That is the accumulated weight of years spent fighting battles you were never meant to carry alone. You were never meant to be your own savior. You were meant to be my beloved child who rests safely in my hands. Pause where you are and let your heart absorb this truth. I see your quiet sacrifices and every silent tear you ever shed in the dark. If you feel my eyes watching over you with tender love in this exact second, answer my voice right now. Write the words, "You see me," in the comments as a holy declaration that you are no longer invisible to heaven. Now, breathe deeply and hear me speak peace over your weary spirit. You thought you were completely alone in your valley, but I was standing right beside you in every single shadow. Remember the story of the woman in the wilderness who thought her story was over. She sat down in despair because she could not bear to watch her child suffer. She turned her face away and wept in silence. But I opened her eyes in that desert and showed her a well of fresh water that was standing right in front of her all along. In that moment of rescue, she called me the God who sees me. That is still my name for you today. I am the God who sees you in your wilderness. I see you not when you have everything put together, but when you are sitting on the floor in broken pieces. I stood beside you when you felt the painful sting of rejection. I held your hand when your trusted friends turned their backs on you and whispered behind your coat. Every time you felt abandoned by those you loved, I moved closer to your broken spirit. I was gathering your shattered heart and holding it with the utmost tenderness, ensuring that not a single piece was lost. You look back at your life and you see a trail of closed doors and sudden losses. You see dreams that died before they could bloom, and you wonder why I allowed your heart to break so many times. But my child, none of those moments were hidden from my eyes. I watched every tear fall, and I recorded every quiet sigh that escaped your lips when you felt completely overwhelmed. I saw every single time you tried to fix things with your own strength. You thought that if you just worked harder or loved more purely, you could earn the peace you desired. But peace is not something you earn through endless labor. Peace is a gift that I freely pour into open hands. Today, I am asking you to open your hands and stop clutching the pain of yesterday. I need you to understand something very clearly today. The silence you experienced was never my abandonment. The enemy has been working tirelessly to fill your mind with constant noise and overwhelming anxiety. He created a thick static in your atmosphere so that you could not hear my gentle voice or see the provisions I placed right along your path. My child, I see your deep weariness, and I have not abandoned you to this storm. Because I love you, I have prepared a way for your restoration. I guided wise minds to bring forth a specific sound instrument that clears the noise of the enemy from your mind. It is a divine provision placed directly on your path to restore the quiet clarity you lost. I will reveal this tool to you before our message ends today, so that your weary soul can finally rest. The enemy wanted you to believe that your prayers were bouncing off the ceiling. He whispered lies into your quiet moments, telling you that God had turned his back on your family. But those whispers were complete deception. The static was designed to keep you from recognizing the answer I had already prepared. The provision is close, and your eyes will soon be open to see it. Do not let your mind race or worry about how this restoration will happen. I am the one who guides your steps, and I am the one who prepares the table before you in the presence of your enemies. You do not have to fight for your peace anymore. You only need to be still and allow me to fight this battle for you while you receive the rest I have prepared. Think back to the times when you tried so hard to fix your own life. You stayed up until 4 in the morning trying to solve problems that were far beyond your control. You exhausted your mind with endless plans and worst-case scenarios, but none of those thoughts brought you a single second of true peace. Human effort can never build the divine rest your soul craves. You have been fighting like a weary warrior for far too long. You wear your armor every single day because you are afraid that if you take it off, someone will hurt you again. But I am asking you to lay down your heavy weapons right now. You are in my sacred presence, and no weapon formed against your spirit will ever prosper when you are hiding under my wings. Let the tension in your body soften right now. Unclench your jaw and let your hands open up. Notice how your breathing becomes slower and deeper as you listen to my voice. This quiet calm you feel right now is just a small sample of the absolute peace I am releasing over your life today. The heavy fog that clouded your mind is beginning to thin out. You have wondered if your best years are already behind you. You felt like life passed you by while you were busy surviving one crisis after another. But hear my promise to you right now. I am the God who restores the years that the locusts have eaten. What was stolen from you in seasons of grief will be returned to you with a double blessing of joy. I am reshaping your story from the inside out. The dark valley you walked through was not your final destination. It was simply the pathway that led you directly into my presence today. You are being transformed from an exhausted survivor into a pillar of quiet strength, and your life will soon become a living witness of my restorative power. Do not be afraid of the changes that are happening around you. When I close a door in your life, it is because that room has become too small for the destiny I have planned for you. When people walk away from your side, it is because their purpose in your story has come to an end. Trust my hands, even when you cannot trace my exact footsteps in the dark. Stay close to me as we move forward into the next part of our message. I am about to uncover the hidden mechanism behind every delay you faced, and I will show you how the very thing that broke your heart was actually used to prepare you for a breakthrough that no human hand can ever stop. I need you to understand something deeply right now, my child. Do not call your waiting season a failure. You have spent years asking why certain doors closed when you prayed so hard for them to stay open. You felt like heaven was completely silent while everyone else received their answers. But what you perceived as a closed door was actually my wall of protection over your future. There were rooms you were eager to walk into that would have destroyed your faith. There were people you begged me to keep in your life who would have drained your soul until you had nothing left to give. I stepped in and closed those doors because I loved you too much to let you wander into traps. What looked like a painful delay was actually my hands shielding you from unseen heartbreak. Remember young Joseph, when he was thrown into the dark pit by his own brothers. He cried in the silence of that cistern and wondered why I allowed such cruelty to touch his faithful life. He did not know that the pit was not his grave, but his preparation room for a kingdom. I was building beneath the surface what no earthly throne could ever prepare him for. My child, the pit of delay you have been sitting in is not your ending place. I know you have questioned my timing, but I need you to listen to me with the deepest part of your heart. I know what you are thinking in the back of your mind right now. You are thinking that you have waited too long, and that your best years are already gone. You wonder if your faith was simply not strong enough to unlock the promises I made to you. But I am stepping into your day to expose that lie before it steals any more of your peace. My silence during your long waiting season was never my absence. I was working in rooms you could not see, and I was rearranging circumstances on a timeline you could not measure. I call this season the protective delay. It was never a punishment for your past mistakes, and it was never a sign that I turned my face away from your prayers. I was simply holding you back until the ground ahead of you was safe for your feet to walk upon. Now, let us speak about the deep wound you have been carrying inside your chest for so long. I have watched you lie awake at 3 a.m, replaying every single conversation from your day and searching for the one thing you said wrong. I saw you finish a hard task and feel no joy, because your eyes went straight to what was still undone. You have called this being a perfectionist. You told yourself that you simply have high standards, and you berated your spirit for not being stronger or more productive. My child, that is not the truth about your heart, and I will not allow you to carry that lie for another single day. Here is what is truly happening inside your spirit. Long ago, in a season you may not even remember, you learned a painful lesson. You learned that love had to be earned, and that you were only safe when you were useful to others. I call this hidden mechanism the earning wound. It is not your true character, but a scar left behind by a world that demanded performance. So all those times you felt guilty for resting, you were not lazy at all. You were fighting an invisible lie that told you rest had to be earned through endless exhaustion. All those times you could not receive a genuine compliment, you were not being humble. You were simply guarding a tender wound that made you feel unworthy of receiving good things without working for them. Today, I am stripping that lie away from your soul forever. The next time that heavy emptiness comes over you, I want you to stop immediately. Place your hand over your heart and hear my voice saying that you were loved long before you ever accomplished a single thing on this earth. Receive my grace right now, because you do not have to earn what I freely give to you. If your spirit is breaking free from that lie right now, do not let this moment slip away. Stand firm in this agreement with me. Write the words "I trust your timing" in the comments right now as a powerful declaration that you are surrendering your own timeline into my loving hands. Hear my prophetic declaration over your life in this exact moment. The season that has exhausted you is closing now. I am stripping away the authority of every single voice that told you that your dreams had expired. Every door that shut in your face was my loving protection, and now I am preparing to open doors that no human hand can ever close again. When I created the human mind, I placed a sacred frequency at its very core. Scientists who have spent their entire lives studying the brain have discovered it, and they call it the gamma wave. It ran freely inside you when you were a little child, without any effort or complex discipline on your part. It is why children learn so quickly, and why they trust so purely, without carrying the heavy weight of tomorrow. When I said that you must become like little children to enter my kingdom, I was not speaking only of your spirit. I was speaking of the very signal I designed into your brain to keep you connected to my presence. The enemy used the overwhelming noise and constant pressure of modern life to drown out that sacred frequency. He wanted you to live in a state of constant survival so that you would forget the peace I placed inside you. But my child, I have not left you without a solution to this constant noise. I guided wise minds to work with sound in the exact way I designed it, creating a divine frequency instrument that clears the static from your mind. You do not have to work for it, and you do not have to earn it with endless striving. You simply surrender for 7 short minutes with headphones on and eyes closed, allowing my original design to restore the clear channel inside your mind. I am going to show you exactly where to find this provision before our message ends today. You do not need to worry about how it works or how you will receive it, because I have already aligned every detail on your behalf. All I ask of you is a quiet willingness to step out of the noise and receive what I prepared. Think of my servant Elijah when he was completely exhausted after his greatest victory. He ran into the wilderness and lay down under a broom tree, begging me to let his life end because he had nothing left to give. He was not weak, but he was completely empty from fighting long battles alone. I did not rebuke him for his tiredness, and I did not demand that he fight harder. I sent my angel to bake him fresh bread and let him sleep in peace, because sometimes the most faithful thing you can do is rest. I fed him before the next part of his journey, and I am feeding your weary spirit right now. You are entering a new chapter where you no longer have to force outcomes with your own anxiety. The heavy fog that made you doubt your calling is lifting off your mind, and you are beginning to see the road ahead with absolute clarity. The waiting was not a waste of your years, but a holy shaping for the victory that is about to arrive. Stay right here with me as we prepare to cross the threshold into your breakthrough. What I am about to show you next will take you into the very future I have prepared for you, where the peace you thought was lost becomes your permanent home. Before I show you what comes next, I need to speak to the quiet doubt sitting in your heart. I know what you are thinking right now. You are thinking that you have heard promises like this before, and that you prayed and believed, but the answer still did not come. You wonder why this moment would be any different. My beloved child, that question does not make me angry. It tells me how long you have been faithful in the dark. My silence in those long years was never my rejection. It was the sound of my hands rearranging things you could not see, because a yes in that season would have cost you everything. I was being careful with a life I love. Do not whisper to yourself that you are unworthy of this blessing. You feel that this kind of peace is only for people who are more faithful than you. You think about every time you stumbled or felt weak, but I do not pour my grace on the deserving. I pour it on the willing. Your willingness to stay and listen is all I ever required. You spent so many seasons feeling like an outcast in your own story. You looked at your life and wondered why others received easy answers while you were left to struggle in the dark. But hear me clearly today. The darkness was never your home. It was simply the soil where I was growing your roots so deep that no future storm could ever knock you down. Now, hear my prophetic declaration over your life in this exact moment. The season that has exhausted your spirit is closing right now. I am breaking the authority of every single lie that told you your destiny had expired. The generational ceiling of fear and lack that hung over your family is shattered at my command. The doors that were locked against your progress are trembling right now. What was closed against you is being unsealed by my power. The waiting season has served its full purpose, and I am releasing a wave of breakthrough that no human hand can ever stop. Stand up in your spirit and prepare to cross the threshold into your peace. If you are ready to receive this breakthrough and step into your freedom, do not hesitate. Anchor your faith right here in this second. Write the words, "I receive my peace" in the comments right now, as a holy seal over the new chapter I am opening for your life. Let me show you the place where we are walking together. Picture a quiet morning 6 months from today. You wake up before your alarm, and for the first time in years, there is no knot of anxiety waiting in your stomach. You lie in your bed and take a slow breath that goes all the way down into your chest. You notice that the heavy pressure you carried for so long is simply gone. Your very first thought of the day is not fear or panic, but a peaceful question of what good thing you are made to experience today. You walk through your home with a light heart, and you realize that you are finally at home in yourself. Picture yourself walking into a room full of people who used to make you feel small. Instead of shrinking or putting on a defensive mask, you smile with quiet confidence. You do not need their approval anymore, because your worth is anchored in my love. You feel a gentle warmth in your chest, knowing that you are completely secure. That version of you is not a distant fantasy, my child. She already exists inside your spirit, and she is standing just one step of surrender away from where you sit right now. The distance between you and that peaceful version of yourself is not years of hard labor. It is simply your permission to let me carry what you were never meant to hold. Remember the deep wounds and the exhaustion we spoke about earlier. This peaceful future is the life waiting on the other side of your surrender. I did not bring you this far through the wilderness to abandon you at the edge of your promised rest. I have prepared the bridge, and I am asking you to take my hand and walk across it. I have gifted humanity with the wisdom to discover what I hid inside sound. Over decades of quiet research, I guided the minds of dedicated scientists to confirm how the human brain responds to sacred frequencies. I directed their work so that a provision would be ready for this exact season of your life. I want to show you what I did for one of my daughters, named Rachel. She was a nurse who searched for peace for years through every spiritual effort she knew. She was exhausted and felt spiritually blocked. Within 2 weeks of receiving this sound provision, her mind cleared and her home was filled with an unshakable calm. And for others, I moved in a different way. My son Michael was carrying a heavy financial burden and worrying about the future of his children. Within 2 months of receiving this provision, his mind was renewed with sharp clarity. His business expanded, and hard problems that used to steal his sleep began solving themselves while he rested. Over 18,000 of my children have already received this provision on their path before you arrived today. They were tired warriors just like you, searching for a way to quiet the constant static in their minds. And I led every single one of them to the exact same restoration that is standing in front of you right now. They call this provision the Genius Song. It is a divine sound instrument created to reactivate the gamma wave inside your brain, returning you to the exact state of childlike receptivity I designed from the beginning. You do not need complex training or hours of practice. You simply put on headphones for 7 minutes a day and surrender. This is not a generic meditation track, and it is not available on streaming platforms or public music channels. Those public channels carry distorted frequencies that cannot clear the static of the enemy. The Genius Song is a specialized tool, engineered to restore the clear channel between your spirit and my presence. This provision is for my weary warrior, who has fought in silence for far too long. And to my child who has tried everything and feels embarrassed to try one more time, hear my voice. What failed you in the past required your own exhausting effort. This tool requires zero effort from you, because it works through my design inside your mind. Earthly experts charge hundreds of dollars for a single session to help people reach this state of mental clarity. But I do not call you to expensive clinics or distant machines. What I have placed on your path today requires only a small earthly exchange, a tiny mustard seed of investment for the massive harvest I have prepared for you. When you receive this provision today, I have aligned 4 additional gifts to bless your journey. You will receive a special audio tool designed to help your children focus and grow in confidence. You will also receive guided wisdom to keep your spirit aligned with my abundance, ensuring that your restored peace remains steady every single day. Where I place truth, the enemy always tries to create imitation. Do not be led astray by false frequencies circulating on public music apps under similar names, because they carry none of the restoration I engineered. Protect your spirit by accessing only the official provision I have set before you in the pinned comment below. Walk forward without a single grain of fear. This step of faith requires no worldly risk on your part. You are completely covered by a steadfast 60-day guarantee. If this tool does not bring the profound mental shift and deep peace I described, every single penny of your earthly exchange will be returned to you in full. Take this step of obedience right now, my child. Find the official provision I placed for you in the pinned comment below and in the video description. This is your personal invitation from heaven. Do not let this moment pass you by, but step forward and receive the quiet gift I held back for your restoration. Set aside every remaining decision right now, my child. You have listened to my voice with a willing heart, and heaven has registered your obedience today. Whether you stepped forward into your provision or simply needed a quiet moment to breathe, you remain my deeply beloved child. Sit quietly in my presence right now and let the loud noise of the world fade into total silence. Close your eyes where you sit. Take a long, slow breath in through your nose and feel my peace filling every corner of your lungs. As you exhale, release the heavy tension sitting in your neck and shoulders. You do not have to fight anymore. You do not have to manage the entire universe, and you do not have to fix every broken detail of your life before the sun sets today. Be still in my arms right now. Let your heart slow down its rapid pounding. The long season of constant alertness is coming to an end. You spent years scanning the horizon for the next disaster, always waiting for bad news to strike your home. But I am standing as an unshakable wall of fire around your life. Nothing can cross my boundary to harm your spirit when you are resting under my shadow. I am taking the heavy armor off your weary body in this exact second. You have worn that heavy iron for so long that you forgot what it feels like to walk in total freedom. You kept your armor tight because you were terrified of being wounded again. But you are no longer standing in the middle of a battle. You are sitting in my holy sanctuary, and the air here is filled with quiet rest. Look at your hands right now. Unclench your fingers from the tight fists you have held for years. Notice how much energy you wasted trying to hold on to things that were slipping away. When you open your hands, you are not losing control of your life. You are simply placing your fragile heart into the hands of the one who created the stars and measures the oceans in his palm. Hear my voice declaring your true identity today. You are no longer the exhausted survivor fighting invisible battles in total fear. You are no longer the one who has to shrink to fit into small rooms, or apologize for having a gentle heart. I am raising you up to be a cycle breaker in your family, a beacon of unshakable peace, and a holy vessel of my living glory. The heavy exhaustion you carried was never a sign of spiritual weakness. It was simply the result of carrying heavy burdens that were never meant for human shoulders to hold. But through every storm you endured, I was cultivating a deep compassion inside your spirit. The secret tears you shed in the dark, gave you a spiritual authority that comfortable people will never understand. You will not merely survive this season, my beloved child. You will overcome every obstacle in your path, and through the transformation happening in your heart today, others will find their way back to my light. People in your home will look at your calm face and wonder where you found such steady strength, and you will tell them that you found it in my presence. You felt like you were broken into 1,000 jagged pieces. But a precious jewel covered in dust is still precious to the master who shaped it. I am wiping away the heavy dust of your battles, and I am polishing your faith until it shines brighter than the morning sun. You are my carefully formed masterpiece, and my work in your life is far from finished. The generational patterns of fear and lack that followed your family end with you today. You were chosen to step out of the old cycle and walk into a new heritage of divine rest. Where those who came before you walked in constant anxiety, you will walk in unshakable confidence, knowing that your house is built upon the solid rock of my promise. Now, let us complete this sacred transformation together. I want you to make a final declaration of total trust right where you sit. Lay down your worries, your family concerns, your financial fears, and your health anxieties at my feet. Say goodbye to the need to control your own future, and step fully into the quiet sanctuary I have prepared for your spirit. Anchor your spirit in this eternal surrender right now. Write the words "I surrender all" in the comments as a holy vow that you are releasing every burden into my hands forever. Let those words be your final seal against the noise of the enemy, declaring to heaven and earth that your entire trust belongs to me alone. Good, my child. Your surrender has been recorded in heaven, and my peace is sealing your heart. Now, do not keep this sacred light hidden inside your own room. Look around you at a world that is drowning in constant fear and overwhelming noise. There are so many weary souls who are secretly crying themselves to sleep tonight, wondering if anyone hears their silent prayers. I ask you to become an instrument of my hope today. Share this message with 3 souls who are secretly crying out for peace. You may not know the full depth of their pain, but I do, and your simple act of obedience will be the very lifeline I use to rescue them from despair. Be the light bearer who brings my comfort into their dark valley, and do not let the enemy pull your mind back into the world's noise tomorrow. Subscribe to this channel right now, and turn on the notification bell so you can stay connected to my daily guidance. Make a firm commitment to protect your peace every single day, allowing my voice to be the steady anchor that keeps your heart clear and calm. Now, receive my sacred blessing over your life as we close this holy encounter. I speak my peace over your mind right now. May every racing thought be stilled by my presence. May the spirit of confusion and constant worry leave your atmosphere forever, replaced by a quiet clarity that passes all human understanding. I speak my protection over your physical vessel. May the deep exhaustion in your bones melt away as you rest tonight. I command sweet, undisturbed sleep to fall upon your eyes. When you lie down, you will not toss and turn in fear, but you will rest securely under my shadow, knowing that I am guarding your home while you sleep. I speak my abundance over your household. May the doors of divine provision swing open before you in ways you never expected. I break the spirit of lack and financial fear over your family, and I release a steady flow of heavenly resources so that you will have more than enough to bless others and fulfill your calling. I speak my healing over your relationships. May bitter wounds from the past be washed clean by my grace. I place a holy guard over your heart, giving you the discernment to set wise boundaries while loving purely. May your home become a peaceful sanctuary where my presence is felt in every room and every conversation. I speak my strength over your next steps. When you wake up tomorrow morning, you will not feel the heavy weight that used to sit on your chest. You will step forward with a light heart, knowing that my angels are encamped around you, and my grace is going ahead of you to smooth every rough path. Walk forward into your new day with your head held high, my beloved warrior. The waiting season is officially over, and the shift you felt in your spirit is here to stay. You are loved beyond measure, you are protected without limit, and you are never alone. I walk beside you through every step of your journey. Be at peace, my child. Rest in my love, and know that I am working all things together for your absolute good. Amen.